Welcome to episode number 10 of Templars Talks. And today we're talking about the festival and events that we have been going through. And I have two events. I think you had one or two or
One,
okay.
I think.
Then let me start with the first one, which was an evening in Arnhem where two progressive bands were playing. And the first one was French, I think. Their name is Esprit d'Escalier. And
You practice on your pronunciation.
French is relatively good because I learned that in school.
Yeah, me too, but...
And I like French, in a way. I don't speak it that often, but I still like the language.
Yes.
But yeah.
So, how was it?
I really enjoyed that. What's funny is that the first band had like these really colorful merch with them. I think I sent it a video to you
Yes,
also.
you sent
It's
it,
like
you sent it.
I was like, I'm going to a metal show and I see only one black shirt and then there's unicorns on the t-shirt. Like
rainbows.
Whoa, cool. But that sets the tone.
Something different, you know.
Yeah. And from progressive, of course, there's several versions of progressive that you can see. But this band managed to surprise me because in some way it seems like they had a bit of grunge mixed into it, and that's something I haven't really heard into it that much before. So I found that a bit of an original take to it. And also quality-wise, very, very good. Very good vocals, good songwriting. So I can see this band grow substantially larger than they are now in the upcoming future, because obviously they know what they're doing and what they want to bring to the people. So that was really nice. Yeah, they had been playing the support for the band Ohrima, and they're from the Netherlands. Also very good, but maybe more generic in a way, more like I expected it to be. So I liked the evening. It was one of those nights that there were not super many people in the venue, but still enough to make a good atmosphere. And it seems like people really wanted to see the package and not just came for one of them. So that's really nice.
That's nice, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my first evening there. I don't have that much to tell about the show other than that, I think. Progressive isn't my main genre. I do enjoy it every once in a while. But yeah, especially Esprit d'Escalier surprised me big with their unique mix of genre that they have. Well, and now I want to hear all about your show after we've been hyping it up a little bit already in the past episodes.
Yeah, so I went to Metsatöll and Finntroll, and there was a support act, but I missed it. It was a Finnish band. I think I saw them maybe sometime. Because, I don't know, the name just... I don't know. It felt like I've seen them. But I came in when they played the last song. So that was a little bit a shame. There was not that much audience. It was on a Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
But still, they played in the main hall. Yeah. So it's hard to say something when you only see like one song.
True. But traffic is a bitch sometimes.
Yeah. But it was. Yeah. What can one say about one song? I think I would have liked to see the whole set. I think I can say that. It sounded interesting, the little song I heard. And then Metsatöll came, their Estonian band. I think we saw them like years and years and years ago. They also said they haven't been playing in the Netherlands for quite a long time. And I like it because they bring, they play like folk metal. But they really have like these old instruments with them. Like some sort of a doedelzak. I don't know how do you say that in English. Bagpipe.
Bagpipe, yeah.
Yeah.
Bagpipe.
So they have some sort of bagpipe, flute, trommels,
Drums.
Sort of drums. Yeah. And they do a lot of with like vocal sounds, like yeah. I can't do that. But, well, maybe I can, but not on a podcast. So I quite like it. It got more crowded. I think the interaction between the audience was quite well. When they asked something, the audience responded, and I think the overall mood was really nice. I quite liked it. And then
I think I remember that I was seeing Metsatöll for the last time in Nosturi in Helsinki, like many years ago.
Possible. Yeah.
Yeah, and also it was one of those nights that you randomly end up there seeing bands, and then Metsatöll always seems to play with bands that are not quite like them, but kind of have a relation in the sound, but not too obvious close.
Yes.
So yeah, that's what I always like, that they can bring a little bit of a difference to an evening compared to the other acts that you will be seeing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they definitely did that. I think they have their own sound.
Yeah.
Which is nice for variation purposes, you know. To keep you interesting. And I think they did a very good job in getting the energy and the spirit of the people up to Finntroll, because they were headlining. What can one say about Finntroll? I
want to know about the ears.
The ears. I haven't seen that many ears in the audience. I think I saw 2 girls with those ears, and of course the band members. But But
yeah, that's then the Finnish thing. I figured.
Yeah, or maybe more the tight fans.
Yeah, but I mean, they do have a bit of a dedicated group of people following them. I like that they have been people who's been following for many, many years.
Well, there were some people more dressed up.
Yeah.
But not exactly with the ears, but there were a few of those dressed up like trolls, I imagine. Which was fun, and I think they even said something about 1 or 2 of those people in the audience. So that was nice. I think also for the fans, you know, they dress up.
Yeah.
From head to toe. It was not just a mask or ears. It was like from head to toe, like everything. So it's nice when a band calls you out, I think. But yeah, the performance was Finntroll. I think they never. I think it's always good to see them. You know, the vibe is always right. They're always. They bring some sort of enthusiasm on stage. But I have to say, the audience was I don't know. I've seen them going mad more. I think you said about the Finnish audience the last 2 times you saw them, they were actually going wild. And I think the Dutch audience this time was very mellow for a Dutch audience.
But isn't that also the Wednesday evening thing? People still having to go to work the next day.
Less drinking, maybe.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a really good show. And of course, you have all those well-known songs where the audience goes cheering.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it was a good show. It was. They played well. They seemed to have a lot of fun as well with each other.
For some reason, they never bore me in a way.
No.
Like, I'm not a Finntroll fan. Like,
No,
as in, I buy all the albums, but whenever you see them around, there's some like good atmosphere.
Yeah, we always have fun.
Yeah. It's cool. I like what they do.
Well, when you talk about Metsatöll, they have their own sound. I think Finntroll has their own thing as well. I think they ventured a little bit with their own style from back in the days, like more death metal to more folkish to... I think they're a little bit more back to the more growling metal right now. But the songs, they always have some sort of similarity, you know? So
yeah, true.
In a way, stays Finntroll from one song to the next. There's no real... well, they were like... more like a ballady kind of songs in the middle. But that was everything in shift of the performance, so...
Yeah, I think nowadays we see a lot more of these themed bands, like in the power metal, we have the pirates stuff and such. But if you look back, Finntroll was one of those bands who did that very clearly. When I'm not gonna say first, but like they were definitely pioneering with it in their genre.
That's a good word, pioneering.
Yeah. So yeah. Good for them. I'm happy that they were having a good tour, and I think the last show is over now for this tour.
Yeah, I think they were back already at home. But I hope next time they're in the Netherlands, they will have a little bit larger and more enthusiastic audience. That will be nice for them, you know.
I think they should also do some summer festivals in the Netherlands, because it seems like a lot of people maybe forgotten a bit about them so much. Yes. So
I think they would be. Well, we've discussed this many times.
I know where you're going. I know where you're going. Bring it on.
Well, we think it's a great metal band, a great fun band. When you have a festival, you need to have some sort of like just a fun moment, you know. And I really believe they bring out exactly that, you know.
Exactly.
Having a good time with your beer up in the air and you know. I think the Hoenpapa is really good for that.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
that's true.
Next year, more festivals.
I hope so.
In the Netherlands. Yeah.
That's for sure.
So you went to...
Willemsfest!
On King's Day. I will still say Queen's Day, but King's Day.
Yeah, King's Day. For people who are not from the Netherlands, in the Netherlands on 27th of April, it's the King's birthday. And he kind of made the decision to keep the tradition of Queen's Day going. And that means that everybody has a day off and can go and party or...
Dressed up in orange,
go to some flea markets, have festivals around everywhere. And I think the tradition also includes now that children have sporting days in the weeks before with school, have some breakfast together, sort of like that. So on King's Day, there's festivals everywhere.
Bringing the nation together as one.
Yeah.
Dressed up all in orange.
Yeah, well, I wasn't wearing any orange, but yeah.
Oh, you were dressed in black.
Yep, fully black.
Because you went somewhere else.
Yeah, I went for metal.
You went inside.
Yeah, I think in Arnhem there were like 12 stages or something, but the venue Willemijn organizes a metal festival called Willemsfest. And they have always a good lineup. I've been going there for years now. And they take a couple of locals. They take Dutch bands from a bit further away. They have a couple of international names usually that bring up the bill to another level. And yeah, usually it's a day full where a lot of different kind of people come together for listening metal. And I was there from the beginning. Usually I come a little bit later because I do want to go over flea markets and do the other traditional stuff as well. But this time I was there early, and it started with me seeing Spit. Spit is a band that recently started going out there. I photographed them also in January, and I think we also discussed that in the podcast in one of the first episodes, probably the second one or so. So it was good to see them back again. They definitely grew already a bit. So you can see them having more confidence, knowing what they were doing. And I really liked. They had a good start of the evening. And yeah, most remarkable, at one of the later bands, one of the guys from the band came to me and started thanking me because I came to photograph them as the first band also. And I was like, oh, of course. Yeah, of course. We do like those local bands, you know. We want to see the future headliners too. So that was really nice. And I really appreciate that these guys are so eager to get out there and make connections. So good for them. Spit is an energetic band. We have been in some contact recently. They released something and they will send it to me as soon as they have the physical release. So you will definitely see some review about that appearing when that happens.
Nice.
I saw Oltas, which is also a band that we really liked. They are also from the Netherlands. We've been in touch with the Instagram also. I think what I was surprised a bit about their show is that they were more powerful than I expected, but I had not seen them before, I think, if I remember correctly. That was good. Then there's another band who sent me like 2 weeks ago that they had their single out soonish. I think the 19th or so, and they're called Obnoxious. And I will talk a little bit more about the single later because they are in my list for later on. But yeah, it was interesting to see them live doing their show. I'm positively surprised with them. Fourth, I am gonna mention not all the bands, but the first couple were on my high list. And Mouflon is one of those bands that I mentioned also in the previous episode as one that I was looking forward to. I think they were one of the best that I saw during the day. They make doom, death kind of sounds. And they're local. They had a really good show, and for me it was cool because I've seen them a couple times before. I know their way of performing on the stage, so I found the right spaces to go to for photographs. But I took some time to like actually listen very carefully also because I really, really like the way they bring their music. It goes beyond the standard Dutch metal band level, I think. Yeah. So I think Mouflon is one of those bands that we can see go large if they continue doing what they're doing.
Nice.
So that was one of the things that I really liked. I think there were 2 bands that were, for me, the best of the day, and Mouflon is one of them. There were a couple more interesting bands in between. One band that I will mention because I did not like all the bands as much, but the one band that I really didn't like is Wasted Youth Club. They attracted a, different kind of audience that, looked more a bit colorful, hippie style. They had a very explosive way of performing, very active, but the music is just not my thing, so... but I do admit that they got their own crowds with them, and the crowd was going wild for it. So good for them. And then I think I want to talk a bit about the second one that was on my high list, and that's Confess. Confess is from Ireland, if I remember correctly, and they had something interesting going on. They had this wild performance, and the vocalist there in that is not the most active person compared to the rest. So that was somewhat static, but not like they are only standing behind the mic. But if you look at the guitarist, he was going pretty wild with it. The bassist, drummer stays put, you can't really see much of him. But then there's another guy behind the knobs that's doing also vocals, and he is a bit hidden. So if you're in the back and you haven't seen the band before, you have to look carefully to see where that sound is coming from, and then you notice it's that guy. Aha, interesting. But does it mean he stays behind that bar there? No. Towards the end, he decided to get out there and do some crowd surfing, and
Yes.
that was really interesting. It was he was going over there, joining the audience. I think, what was it, a guitarist or a bassist or something jumped off as well in the crowds and started to do the bit of the show there. But in the meantime, the music on the stage also went on. I think I was very focused on what was happening in front of me, and then I didn't even realize that one guy was missing and standing behind me.
Okay.
So, yeah. I mean, I've spoken out about guys jumping into the audience to play from there before, what I think of it. But here it kind of worked. Some circle pits started to happen around him. Yeah. Confess is really an interesting band. And the good thing is, I might be able to see them again in a couple weeks, because they're also playing in the Achterhoeks Metsatöll.
Okay, that's really nice.
Yeah, so that's a festival I could quickly tell a little bit about. They have something like 5 bands, and Confess is one of them. They have a couple of local ones. Bismuth is probably one that many people know. And headliner is Vengeance.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see them. They've been around for so long. And yeah, now they're headlining in Achterhoeks Metsatöll. So pretty cool. But good, let's go back to Willemsfest, because there were some more bands. Mind War was playing in the downstairs area, and yeah, the hardcore music is so intense that many people were falling over on the floor because of the intense mosh pits that were going on.
Okay, nice.
I think some people were getting away with a bit of injuries. It was really, really wild. At some point, I also saw one of the speakers going crazy.
Oh my god.
Almost falling over. It was
crazy.
It's cool because I like that more than when everybody's just standing around.
Yes.
Even though it makes my work as a photographer hell, I still like it.
Yes, I can imagine.
Yeah. And then headlining on the main stage was Savage Grades. And, well, yeah, that was, I don't know, a bit disappointing to me.
Okay.
As a headliner, I expect that the band is doing better than that. And, yeah, especially on the vocal side, I was sometimes really cringing about the sound that came from that. Like,
yeah,
missing notes. I don't know. I mean, the guys have been around for long, but it seems like they cannot reach the level that they maybe once had.
They once had, yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't that great either. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that happens sometimes, you know.
Yeah. Maybe a little shout out for the Last Bench Misfits cover band. And sure, was fun. It entertained people. It's cool, but not much more to say about them. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that were our live shows for this episode to discuss.
Yes.
And yeah, of course, we have some more coming up. I will be going to the Dark Troll Festival, which we talked about in the previous episodes. Maybe I'll be in the Achterhoeks Metal Festival. I don't know yet. Probably try to go there. We'll see how I feel after the heaviness from Dark Troll. And you will have a festival as well.
Yes, I will be going to the Derby Rock Festival in Belgium.
That's really nice. What are the main bands that are playing there?
Good question. I think on the first day there is Candlemass and Amorphis.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and the second day there is Sonata Arctica. Well, I think at the beginning of one of our first episodes, I said I have never seen the band, even though I've been to Finland quite so many times. and you've seen them a lot of times, I think. But
Yeah.
somehow I never did. So I'm actually looking forward. Not really my style, but I like to see new things for me. And then there's also Heidevolk. Well, it's a Dutch band.
Dutch folk darlings.
Yeah, but I've never. I think they have a almost completely different lineup than so many years ago. I
Didn't we
think
see
only the bass
them-
player is still, Rowan is still in it, I think, and
Didn't
maybe
we
the
shoot
drummer,
them
but I don't
last
know.
year also in Into the Grave?
No.
I think they were there because they were
No.
like with 12 people on that small stage. Pretty sure about that. I'm
No,
gonna
no,
look
no,
it
no.
up. I'm gonna look
Okay,
it
you
up.
go look it up, but they didn't. You can look it up. So it's yeah, there are so many other bands. A lot of smaller bands, and then I think I'm also looking forward to Equilibrium from Germany.
2022.
That's 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, that's 2 years ago. But they weren't Into the Grave. See,
Yeah, once upon a time.
once that's like 2 years ago. It's not that long ago. You make it sound like it was like 10 years ago.
20 years ago. Yeah, but I'm looking forward. I think the weather is gonna be okay-ish after all the rain we had. So it's. I think we both have this weekend the festivals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that
so
will be
we're looking
interesting.
forward.
We can be
Yes.
updating each other during the festival already.
Yes.
I'm really curious how you're gonna like Candlemass because I really thought they did such a great set in the Inferno. So
Well, I think I've seen them.
yeah, we've seen them before, but I mean,
I think
they never.
Tuska. Pretty
Yeah,
sure.
but they never jumped out to me that much as they did in Inferno. So I'm really curious to see how you feel
if they
about
can
them.
bring it across as well. Well, it's
Yeah.
they play. I think they play outside
That's that's different.
on a small stage, like tiny
Oh.
stage.
But that might actually be good for the atmosphere.
I think the festival is not like huge festival. It's like a smaller size festival, and I think they have two stages, and the main stage is like indoor. I think it's more like a sports hall normally, like basketball hall. So
Yeah.
I'm really curious how it will be, but I'm quite looking forward. I think it's a nice, small, enjoyable one.
Curious to hear about it, at least. Good. Well, we don't have an album that both of us have been listening to this time because we were like super busy. But
Yes.
that's gonna happen sometimes, I guess.
Sometimes, yes. It's
Will
live,
we-
you know.
Yeah, that is. But I mean, we've still both of us have been listening to music, but probably not the same.
Of
so
course. No.
That's. I have something news to discuss briefly.
Mm-hmm.
There was one rapper who posted on the Instagram, I think, that
Yeah.
Iron Maiden is suing them because he kind of copied their album cover.
Yes. Oh, the album cover.
Yeah, the album cover.
Okay, I thought a song, but the album.
No,
Okay.
it's the album cover. But like,
Huh.
if you look at the pictures, I'm like, well, you didn't even do that much difference to it. It's like,
Copy paste.
yeah,
other name on it?
different colors, that is, but furthermore, not that much has changed. And I'm like, I don't understand why you do it, because somebody was pointing out that in the footage where he was talking about it or so, he was wearing a metal band t-shirt, so he must know metal, so he must be realizing how big Iron Maiden is. I mean,
yeah, it's not your typical local band.
exactly. So do you really think you're gonna like get away with stealing the cover of one of the biggest metal bands in existence? Like, Really? I don't get that.
It's like you're asking for it, or maybe it's like a how do you say that? Like more like a guerrilla marketing approach. Like if I do this, people
Probably.
will talk about me.
I don't know. I don't know that much about rappers, so I don't even know if this guy is any famous or I have no idea. But I was just reading it and I was thinking, like,
Yeah.
gosh, guys. I mean, even if you used AI, you would have had a more original artwork than you would have done now. Like, seriously.
Yeah, well, I don't know what he thought
Yeah.
when
So
he made it.
that's just something that I saw and it was like, oh
Yeah,
my
it's
god.
funny. Yeah, oh
What?
my god, news.
Yeah. So then it's time for
Yes.
All About the Vase. There we go.
Yes, 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 yes. Well, I'm
'Cause-
very excited for this one because I have I think I have a very cool person. I don't know if everybody who's listening will think the same, but
Of course they do.
of course, yes. Well, so woohoo! We're talking. Well, I'm reading the answers because we're not talking, but I'm reading the answers from Scott Reeder. Most people know him, I think, from Kyuss in the early 90s. So I asked him to introduce himself, and this is what he wrote. I'm Scott Reeder, probably best known from my time in Kyuss in the early 90s, and currently I'm active with Fireball Ministry, Sovereign Eagle, and Sun and Sail Club. I think I've seen the Sun and Sail Club on my Instagram account popping in. I think they're recording something so I'm curious about that one. I originally started playing drums at age 5, but switched to bass at age 16 when my band's bassist quit and a replacement couldn't be found. It was a punk band called That Issue, and I switched to bass, and we got drummer Alfredo Hernandez to join, and who I later played with in Kyuss.
Cool.
So another one who switched over to bass.
Yeah, it seems really a theme. Like,
it's a theme, right? Yeah. But I think it's fun. Like people, they switch over to bass and then they kind of fell in love with it,
yeah.
or they get stuck. So yeah, he started playing bass when he was 16.
A good age to start, I guess.
I think, yeah. So my first question is a throwback to when you first started playing the bass. Is there anything you would like to share? A moment that you remember in practicing in the mere beginning, or something you were proud of mastering it? Or just tell something about those early days holding the bass guitar and how it was. So he wrote, and this is I think it's a kind of curious answer. So here we go. I'm left-handed. So whenever I had the chance to play my dad's and my grandpa's guitars, I just flipped them around without changing the strings. And by the time I got my first bass, I was so accustomed to playing it that way with the fatter strings at the bottom. The knobs on that first bass turned upside down, so those ended up under his wrist. You know, the tuning knobs?
Yeah.
He had to tape down the knobs to prevent accidentally turning down the volume while trying to play. And I remember trying to learn lots of records in the beginning. The bass intro from Black Flag Six Pack, that was one. And the Descendants record, Milo Goes to College, was another favorite of his. And he said there were lots of jams on that one too.
Huh.
But I have to say, I think I heard the song, but I'm not quite sure. So I will definitely have to look those two songs up and listen to it.
Yeah.
And for everyone who's listening and doesn't ring a bell either that fast, we have a playlist with all the songs that all the bass players mentioned. So check it out.
It's on Spotify.
It's on Spotify, yes. But I think it's really cool that he's like left-handed and he turned up,
Yeah.
learn it Because I know some people
But
who are
that
left-handed
does mean, yeah.
still try to play the other way around, or like him, you know, you just do it
Yeah.
the other way, the left way. But then, you know, I never thought about the knobs being in the way, and then
No.
accidentally like, pring, and then, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it means he's self-taught, at least. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like he went to some music school to learn that, because they probably would have made him
Said, yeah, you know.
like do it, like take a right-handed bass or buy a left-handed bass.
Yes.
So cool.
Cool, yeah. And well, I always like to ask bass players, you know, they can talk hours about their own band and their own stuff, but I'm also always curious about what it is that inspires them as well, what they like to listen to, or so I asked, is there any other artist that you at the moment really admire, and can you share us why? What is it that draws you in? And he say, well, that's tough. There are indefinite answers to that question. But Paul McCartney goes without saying. And he says, at the moment, I'll say Deftones' Cherry Waves. I love Chai Chang's lines on that. They're melodic but chill, and the tension and the release just standing out. And yet so simple and supportive of the song. And I'm actually mad that the universe took him away too much too soon. So yeah.
Yeah, I think for pretty much anyone, you can have a long list of what people are listening to, but it's cool that you can bring it out, that there's one of those big names that always sticks around, you know?
Yeah, Paul McCartney.
Yeah. I mean...
Yeah, and I think it's also fun that, well, not fun, but the Deftones one, yeah, I agree, and it's kind of that I wanted to say that the thing that is funny, that sometimes you don't hear about a band for a while, and then sometimes they pop up in your life. Like, I think I came across the Deftones the last 2 weeks like a couple of times, and now he's saying something about the Deftones. So I think it's always curious how that, you know, fluctuates or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody check out the Cherry Wave songs, and yeah, take a listen to what he says about the melodic and chill and the tension and the release part. See if you can hear it. That will be fun.
Yeah. And if you agree to that, let us know in the comments, because that would be really nice.
Yes. So then, of course, I'm not only interested in what they like from others, but I'm also interested in what they like about their own work. So I ask, of course, if there's anything he's proud of, he wrote himself, or, well, if there's something he can share about the process. And he said, well, I suppose the best, most tedious crafted part that I've ever done is on From Can to Can't, with Corey Taylor, Dave Grohl, and Rick Nielsen. He says, well, I tried to learn every chord inside and out and create a more orchestral, moving part, weaving around some sections. I threw in a subtle nod to John Paul Jones with the big Dazed and Confused bands, and to Tom Patterson's with some plucked octaves to emulate his charming 12-string. So that is kind of interesting, you know, if you put like the sounds from a 12-string into, I don't know, I think he plays on 5, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that does need some translation, I guess.
Yeah. But I think it's kind of cool that he tries to, you know, I think you see he takes little parts from other people around and try to make his own.
Yeah, that's good.
I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And then he says more recently, the Sovereign Eagle album is probably the best full album I've ever done. We recorded during the pandemic, and there was no time crunch whatsoever. And because of that, I think there was kind of a more experimental vibe of not holding back, because, you know, there was a time to do that. And all ideas were welcomed with open arms. He says, I learned a lot about myself and what I strive for on that one. So he took chances outside of what he, would have been easier and less obtrusive to play, but he, took the time and really delve in. And he says, I'd like to think that was the effort and it was well worth it. So if people are curious how Scott Reeder sounds at the moment, and how he, tried to bring in more of himself, go listen to the Sovereign Eagle album. Because he's been around for quite a while, and I think it's still fun that somebody who's been around for that long still enjoys playing his instrument after all these years with a lot of fun and excitement. So I asked him, instead of just one secret, one tip, I asked more like, so how do you, is there a secret to still be enjoying playing the bass after all those years? And he says, well, don't always hide behind what the guitarist is playing. Especially, well, normally like the bass is like the backbone and with the drums, but you can have fun with a bass too, And he says, especially if there's no solo section. So don't just play the same thing under it. Just change it up and fill out the sound. And he says, and I think this is funny, what kept Kyuss interesting for me, show after show, was having section of improvisation on stage or in wherever, where you didn't really know what you would play until you actually played it and get there. So sometimes it will be a terrible train wreck. But when it all clicked together, well, there was no better feeling.
Yeah, I can imagine. And that is also really nice for the fans who are like really listening to the details to have a bit of like seeing that experimentation take place.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I think for audience it's fun, because especially if you're like a diehard fan from any band, every little every little tone, every little detail, well, I do sometimes. And then when you play, well, I think we sometimes say that when you see a band live and it sounds exactly the same as on an album.
Yeah, true.
It's not bad, but it's I don't know, taking away the fun maybe from seeing it live. And then I think if you have a room in your play for a little bit of improvisation at little moments, I think
true. But it
sense.
also depends a bit on the listener. I am going to admit one thing. Sometimes I get from like befriended bands a demo of something that they will release later. And then I listen, I'm excited because I really like the band. I listened to that demo like 700 times. And then they changed it up. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, but then they changed it up. I think it's more is saying like, there you have like spots to improvise and not like totally change it up.
Yeah,
and I think it definitely with a bass, if you're into the groove, you can like put in a little bit of notes or leave it out or make it a little bit more fat sound. I don't know. Yeah, I can understand that type of venturing in not playing exactly how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but, I can imagine that keeps it fun.
There was the answer from Scott Reeder. I think, thank you, Scott, if you're listening to this. Thank you so much for these answers. I had a fun reading them and discussing them here.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
You. And we will definitely check out all those songs. They will be in the playlist. And guys, check out his. Well, if you never heard Kyuss, go do that. Go listen to it. If you never heard any of the other bands he plays in, also check them out.
Yeah, you have some catching up to do.
Yes.
All right, then it's time for the Ikigai. What makes us happy this week?
Festival season.
Yes, festival season. Oh, definitely. I'm so looking forward to get out there and see the festivals again. I'm not looking forward to do all the editing afterwards, but
me neither. And I'm also not looking forward if there's like rain. But I kind of enjoy, it's for me, for festivals, it's a little bit of good weather, but I enjoy seeing like more smaller bands that start out and see how they present themselves on stage and get the crowd going, and then the day builds up and the bands get bigger names, and then one of my favorite bands is playing, so that's quite easy. But yeah, I'm looking forward to all the festivals. I think I will only do 3, but
sometimes that's it. Like that's what you need.
Yeah, but you can enjoy them to the fullest,
Exactly, and let's be honest, going to festivals is not a cheap experience. So
no,
yeah, choices are having to be made.
Yeah, and definitely I don't like to stay in a tent. That's
no.
That's not only because I'm getting older and my back is not the coolest that it used to be, but it's more like we travel with gear. We have to do some editing. You're not gonna do that in a tent, So there's gonna be a bed and a shower.
Yeah, and I don't want to sleep with my arms around my camera to make sure they're not getting stolen. That sort of stuff. Yeah. So I was explaining this exactly to some guy in Friday that I met, that I don't like to camp and being intense with my gear because I'm always carrying a gear. And then he was like, "Oh, but you could buy a very good phone." I'm like, God. Guy.
Yeah, you could. Well, I do remember one festival I was in a tent. It was a Wacken Open Air. I think 2011, and I remember after a long day I was kind of tired, and I was in the tent with my gear, but we had a car next to the tent, I think. So I put my photo gear in the trunk. But I remember Ozzy Osbourne was playing on the stage, and the where we could camp was quite next to the main stage, so I could hear like it was like Ozzy Osbourne was standing next to my tent. It was quite loud, and it really felt like if I would open up my tent, like I was looking, directly at him. It was not, but it felt like that. It was kind of fun, but that's my only good tent experience.
I haven't been camping
with Ozzy Osbourne.
I haven't been camping in festivals since 2007.
Well, this was 2011, so...
Yeah, I think in 2007 I was maybe not having that much gear along at that point, but I was in the tent, and I remember people, drunk, falling over tents.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Opening random tents to see who's in there. I'm like, no.
Yeah, but this was also like a VIP press area.
Yeah.
So there were not that many people, and there were not that many drunk people. So yeah.
Yeah, can imagine, but still for me it's a no. I prefer. I mean, I don't need luxury or something. Just a safe place. That's important.
Yeah, I totally agree with you these days.
Yes. Okay, but one thing, you do miss the fun atmosphere of meeting people on a camping. That's true. So.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's also, if I wasn't going to take photos and run around to see all the bands and review, it's definitely a part of the festival experience.
True.
Yeah.
Well, what made me happy this week, I think, if I can say this one thing, this morning, I was opening our YouTube accounts to check on previous episodes, and we have almost 1,000 listeners on YouTube to this previous episodes. Yeah. It's interesting because, one goes bigger than the other. But this was definitely, last episode was a record so far. We're at episode 10 only, so you guys started to find us real fast. I haven't checked all the other sites places where you can see, but hey, nice. So yeah, if you do like it, people leave us a comment there. It's so easy on YouTube. And while you're at it, make sure you're subscribed. But I think it's pretty cool that so many people find us there. So that makes me really happy.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Then what else do we have for this episode? What have we been listening to?
Yes.
I have quite a list. 7 items to discuss.
Well,
So
you always listen to well, there's like you listen to all the new stuff, and I listen to all the old stuff. So we balance it out.
Yeah, true. But I mean, let's start soon. And I do pick a lot of the singles to listen to during the week because we're not writing whole articles about one song. So I guess they're just for me to listen to and figure out what bands' upcoming albums I will check. And the first one that I already mentioned before in this episode is Obnoxious, and their single is called To Eat. Mm-hmm. They make a combination of hard rock and metal, and they're from Arnhem. So we saw them live already. I think they have a lot going on at the moment, music-wise. I was positively surprised by the single as well as I was with the performance that they did. So yeah, that was really nice to check that out. So I did want to give them a little bit of a shout out here. Check it out, Obnoxious. Then I have one that's I am really, really excited about because there will be an album in June, and it's one band that I listen very often to in the car when I'm driving. So
can I guess?
You can guess, but
is it a Finnish band?
No.
Oh.
No, it's Norwegian. Okay. It's Sarke. Yes, you've seen them. You did see them before. I'm pretty sure about that. But they released a single, Phantom Recluse. And their album will be out in June. And they have this, I don't know, strange black metal rock vibes into it. It's not exactly the mainstream black metal at all. It's also not typical rock. It's doom-ish. There's, I don't know. I always laugh a little bit about their songs. They make me kniffle a little bit.
Well, this sometimes, you know.
Yeah. I remember in one of the previous album they have this sentence in one of the songs where they say the coffin is cold, and I keep hearing him say the coffee is cold. And I'm like, yes, it's no. And then he says it of a very depressed and evil way. The coffee is cold. It's the worst thing that happens.
Everybody listen to the song, and everybody will from now on hear the coffee is cold.
Yeah, I think so. Well, this song was a bit sexy, up tempo compared to what they've pretty much done. So I think it will. I'm curious about what that will say about the album. Whether they bring the tempo up a little bit more than that they've done previously. Are they going a bit more wild, or are they keeping with their mysterious dark sound that they have? So. Good. Are we ready for one of your tracks, songs, albums?
We're gonna switch it out.
Yeah, okay. Of course.
So, of course. Well, like I said, I have not listened to anything quite new this time, but like older stuff. Or this one is not that old. For somehow I enjoyed very much listening to Bjørkø with Ismo Alanko. The Farin Faitaja, if I pronounced that right. I kind of love the combination of the how do you say it, more like the singer-songwriter Ismo Alanko with the rockish, metalish. Because I think it's an interesting song. So I've been listening to that one.
Cool. I think really that guy needs to play live, but. With all the singers or singing themselves or whatever. I think he needs to do live shows.
Yeah.
We need that.
Well, yeah.
Good.
We can start a petition.
Yeah. Yep.
Somewhere in theater, maybe, like big screen. No, yeah, well.
I think he rather wants a GoFundMe instead of a petition. Because bringing in all these people will be quite expensive, I think.
Yeah. You have to. You have to fly out a lot of people.
Yeah, or at least get them there, or make and compensate them for the time.
Well, it should be in Finland then, because there's a lot of Finnish people on it. So
yeah, so
that's the easiest thing. But then still, but it will be interesting.
Definitely. Yeah. So then I'll continue with one of I've been listening to, and that's Rhapsody of Fire. They had Diamond Claws out. Yeah, I thought they have an album coming out this month called Challenging the Wine. That will be, I don't know. I'm not particularly fan of this kind of power metal usually, but Rhapsody of Fire has been around for so long, and yeah, of course with the before just as Rhapsody. So I was like, okay, I need to check it out, and it did not disappoint. It didn't really win me over just yet, but okay, it wasn't bad. So maybe I'll check out the album to see if that will surprise me. Who knows? Then I have an EP that I was listening to, and that's an EP from a Dutch band called Bone Ripper. Bone Ripper is a brutal metallic hardcore band from northern Netherlands, and yeah, the members have been coming from some other local bands, and I think I heard some story about that some like 3 or 4 of them or something are brothers from each other, so that seems like a family band in a way. But it's cool. They have apparently so many people liking the same music in their band, in their family, that they can make a band out of it. So nice. Pretty cool. Yeah, their sound is not something new that much. I mean, if you like hardcore, then you've probably seen this sound around. But it's okay. I mean, if you listen to these starting bands bringing out some of their earlier releases, then that's to be expected. I did like that they have a lot of energy in that. This is typically a band that you want to go and see live. That I got really big Hatebreed vibes from it. Maybe Walls of Jericho a little bit. Like these bands, if you go see them live, you just know that there's going to be so much energy in the field. You cannot expect a complete field to just stand there and watch. You know that there will be movement. So that's the vibes that I got from this EP. Nice. So it will be out on the 24th of May for those who want to check it out. So cool. Yeah.
So one more from me?
Yeah, I want one more from you.
So we with the Ikigai, you said something about what makes us happy, and it's the festivals. And I think at the moment there's like the song from Maneskin, "Honey, Are You Coming?" For me, it's like, I don't know. I like Maneskin. They, of course, if you don't know, how can I say if you don't know them? I think everybody, at least in Europe, they know them. They won the Eurovision contest, contest, and we like the Eurovision. But it's kind of interesting to see how the band evolves after that. And what they're doing. At least I like their rockiest. There's a good bass line in it, of course. I like them. But this "Honey, Are You Coming?" I think it was released like September last year, not this year. So it's not that new. But for me, it gives a feeling of summer festivals, spring, I don't know. Exciting new vibe, spring vibe, good energy. Yeah. So that's also been on my playlist.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I never really got into them that much. I don't even think if I know the Eurovision song so much, but Yeah, I know that there was quite some hype around them.
Yes.
And it's cool that they're still keeping that alive, you know? So many bands
Definitely.
have that dying out after a couple
And then,
years.
yeah.
So, cool. Okay, yeah, I had one interesting act that was listening to their single, and they're called Wood Collector. Their single is called, well, and I am definitely having some issues with that. It's Chicxulub or something. I don't know.
What language
It's
is it?
I don't know, because the band is somewhat Belgian/Mexican, so I don't even know. They play extreme metal, and what I really liked is that they have the saxophone in there, and you
In
can also
extreme
see
metal?
that. Yeah, but you can also see it in the video. That's like really cool. And it, of course, I always have to think of Shining with Monkey because he always pops up everywhere as soon as the sax is involved. As soon as there's a saxophone involved, you know that that guy's coming around the corner. But no, not this time. It's the guy himself. I do think that they mixed it very clean. Like any gritty sound from the sax has been polished away, it seems. I would have loved to see it a little bit more dirty. And that also would benefit the sound, I think, make it more raw. But the way this band is approaching it is, I think, I really like that the song. So I don't know if they have an album coming out, but if they will, I might pick it up for reviewing because they caught my attention.
Nice.
Good. Switching over to some.
Back to me.
You want to go back? Okay, let's go. I don't know how many you have listened to, so.
Hey, you listen. I've listened to lots of bands. So if you keep going, I will just pop in a little bit of old stuff.
Bring it on. Bring it on. I want to hear.
So I've been listening also the last week to Placebo. I don't know. I ended up with listening to that. Well, maybe I created a rock playlist and I had to put stuff in there. And Placebo came up, and I've been listening to the album Without You I'm Nothing. It's from 1998, and it has those songs like Pure Morning and Every You and Every Me on it. Yeah, if you're like in the 90s vibe, well, Placebo, check it out if you don't know it.
Yeah, if you don't know it.
I know, there's still people out there who doesn't know them. You know?
Oh, wow. That must be people who don't listen to music at all.
Well,
but
I don't know what kind of listeners we have. If it's like really more the black metal fans that listens, that likes to hear you talk about the albums, or more.
I don't know. Well, that doesn't the statistic tell me.
Interesting, you know.
Yeah, people, let us know in the comments. What is your favorite genre? What is your favorite genre? Let us know.
Yes. So back to you.
Yeah, I switched around from the extreme metal to synth. Wow. Swedish synth. There's this the Arma, and they have been doing synth album before. Well, album, I think more like EP or single, so to say, because in this case it's called Synthwave Sessions Volume 2, and it's apparently going to be like a whole series. So eventually it will end up in an album. But yeah, so 2 songs. And what they're doing is basically looking at these old 80s pop songs, synth pop songs, and taking their own view on it. It's not like they're covering, but they get these ideas from songs and bringing that in to their own sounds, and that gives it. I mean, I'm a sucker for 80s, you know. I like it. I can enjoy synth music also very much. Dance with the Dev, for example, that sort of stuff. But also more into the gothic stuff, which is definitely a thing going on in Sweden right now. I see a lot of synth-driven sounds and gothic sounds coming back.
Yeah. no, Cemetery Skyline.
Yeah,
Sorry,
for
dropping it in.
example, I think I got their album. Isn't that coming out in July or something? I just
cool. Maybe
saw
we
it
should
in
do
this
that one.
morning. Yeah, but that's for July, so we
Yeah, well,
in
it's
future.
coming.
In future. Yeah. So, and back to the Arma. Yeah, they have this sentence saying that they have this release is an invitation to relive the neon-drenched, synth-driven zenith of the 1980s, reimagined through the Arma's darker, more introspective lens. Aha. So that's basically what they have been doing, and yeah, I like their sounds. I'm kind of dancing to it when I was listening it behind my desk, being
Nice.
hands up in the air, and I'm like, yes, I like this. This is what I want to see. And
Ooh.
I mean, if you see the success with bands like Dance of the Deaf or whatever, all these synth-driven bands in festivals, you see entire crowds going crazy for them. Then I think this really should take off this kind of music. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see what it will bring in the future and if that will happen. But yeah, I liked it. So completely something different from the others, but I like the diversity in my music week.
Me too. So I found out I was listening to also to Katatonia, Swedish, but I found out they will be playing at Eindhoven Metal Meeting this
Interesting.
year. But I find that really interesting because all the other bands are quite like the
Yeah, dark.
like the harder, gorish metal.
Yeah.
And then Katatonia, I would love to see Katatonia live again, but I'm not sure if I would go to Eindhoven Metal Meeting. There's still other cool bands playing, but
Yeah, I can imagine But the problem with Eindhoven Metal Meeting is that they often claim a band exclusively for Benelux or something. I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, thanks,
So-
but I rather not go and pay a shitload of money for a festival for only one band.
well, I think it's not I think Eindhoven Metal Meeting you get a lot for your money, but
Sure, if you like the bands.
I am like said, you're more like the black metal, death metal, more. You're more the listener of that type of music. I'm more the anything else.
Yeah.
So I
No,
do
but-
like Katatonia because they're like I think they're way more mellow, way more melancholic, way more soundscapey than all the
Yeah.
other bands.
True. But like I said, I don't like festivals going for the exclusive claim so much. I understand why they do it
But,
from a marketing
yes.
point of view, but
it's true.
from a fan point of view, it's terrible.
Yeah,
So-
especially if they don't play anywhere in Belgium or Germany, and then
Yeah, exactly. If it was like only Netherlands exclusive, I could say, oh, I'll just pop around, go to another country or so. But this is a bit, yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
I'm
well.
not sure if this the case this time.
No, I don't know either. But that's what they have been doing in the past very often to make that all exclusive for the Eindhoven
But I don't
Metal.
think they're the only ones doing that. I've seen that in other
Yeah.
other festivals as well, like exclusive.
Oh, true.
show.
True, but they are
yeah.
they have been very big on it. I've noticed that in the past couple of years, they've been doing that. But yeah, that's okay. What have I on my list more? Oh yeah, Mile. Mile is Swedish melodic rock. And yeah, there was a single coming out called Killing Me. I think by the end of the month there will be an album out as well. And I was like, okay, I want to see what kind of sound that is. This melodic rock kind of sound can interest me. You can definitely hear you have a vocalist with some years on the counter. A bit older, I think. He has a very catchy sound with a bit of a raw voice into it, and that's always a combination that I really found interesting. If you have this melodic rock with a very raw voice, that's I kind of like that, because otherwise it becomes too much power metal. I don't know. So Mile. I'm gonna keep my eyes on them, and if I have some time somewhere, I might be picking up the album. But with all the festivals in May and June, probably not so much. But it was a nice one to check out. Okay, I have one more. Do you have anything, or can I just spill it out?
Well, I can say I've been listening to the Swedish Graveyard. A little bit more jazzy. And also another oldie, Atticus Chimp. We're gonna go do some little bit of a road tripping. And I was preparing for that with Poison Black.
Of course.
Of course.
That's our tradition.
Yes. So that was it.
Okay, then I'll listening to last one on the list, and that's the Finnish band As the Sun Falls with their album Camels. And it's out since Friday. They make melodic death, as a lot of Finnish bands do. In that way, they are not bringing me something I haven't heard before, but they do bring it with a decent amount of quality, and that I really appreciate, because not all of that is that special. So it was cool to listen to the songs, and I don't know if I want to do something with them yet. I have to listen to it a bit more, I think, again, to see whether I will. But yeah, As the Sun Falls with Camels might be interesting for people who are into Insomnium, Omnium Gatherum, Before the Dawn, that sort of music. Then definitely you can check this out, because it's very similar to that sound. So.
Yeah.
Good, that was my last one from this week, what I've been listening to.
Nice.
Yes, then I think it is time for us to close it up, and
getting towards the end of this show.
Yeah. I mean, we still have to pack for our festival experience next weekend, and all of that. Lots of work to do, because going to a festival, if you're a metal reporter, is more than just being there. Hang out, see the bands,
drinking beers,
No, it's a little bit more preparation and a lot of work afterwards. Lots of work afterwards. Time goes into that.
We're crazy. We enjoy it. We're gonna have fun.
We love it.
So, like we said somewhere in this episode, we're curious what kind of genres you listen to. Let us know. Also, just let us know if you like us talking about all things bands, music, or is there something missing you think we should discuss. Please let us know. Give us a review. And see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.